I'm Allison Jonjak, the Cranberry Outreach Specialist with the University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension. These videos are the on-demand recordings of UW Extension and the Wisconsin State Cranberry Growers Association's virtual brown bag lunch series. These monthly sessions offer growers and researchers a way to share timely and relevant information. We hope you'll enjoy and continue to engage with us.
Hi, I'm Tom Lochner, the Executive Director of the Wisconsin State Cranberry Growers Association. We're excited to be a partner with Extension to bring you research-backed resources, tools, and tips to keep Wisconsin marshes productive and profitable.
So welcome to our May virtual brown bag cranberry growing season updates. We are going to have a good panel of information from our experts today. And in terms of housekeeping, if you want to keep yourself muted unless you're asking a question, we do encourage people to ask questions throughout, and I'm going to be moderating the chat. So if you have a question that you want to unmute yourself and ask, go for it. If you have a question you want to type into the chat, I'll be watching the chat. And then also if you want to ask an anonymous question in the drop-down, choose just Allison Jonjak, and then I'll read that question out on your behalf anonymously. There are also closed captions available if that is preferred for you for accessing versus audio. And so just click that little ... and show closed captions. With that, I'll give pass the mic over to Tom Lochner, who will give us a welcome on behalf of the Wisconsin Cranberry State Growers Association. So I will offer that to you, Tom.
Oh, well, thank you, Allison, and good afternoon to everybody. Our monthly brown bags continue, and I'm glad to see so many growers that are participating today. Just a couple of quick things for you to mark on your calendar that are coming up is on the 14th of June will be the Cranberry Open at Bullseye Country Club in Wisconsin Rapids, and the registrations are open. Whether you're a golfer or not, it's a good time to get out and interact with the fellow growers and members of the cranberry community. And it's always a fun time and a good day. If you need information, I know Alex has sent out registration forms, and we can always steer you in the right direction if you have any questions about getting involved. Second item is we will be holding the summer meeting this year again at the research station on August 9th. That information is going out as well and will be in the next issue of the WSCGA News. We hope to see you all there. We're going to have maybe a program that's a little similar in format as last year. We'll have a lot of new things to talk about that's going on at the station and within the industry. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks to Allison and Alex for putting the program together again today, and for all of our speakers who are joining us this afternoon. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Allison, and hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll get some sleep and won't have to be up watching frost.
That's always the good hope. Thanks, Tom. So we've got oh no, my photos overlapped my text, but we've got a really good selection of speakers today. Pamela Verhulst from Ladybug IPM is going to give us an overview of what she's been seeing in the field. Oops, I advanced a little too fast. And then John Moss and Paul Potter are both going to speak on the benefits of data collection and what data management can do for your marsh. And then we'll close up with Amaya Atucha on a lot of our spring questions, especially focusing on leaf drop and on side shooting. So I'm going to pass things directly to Pam with that quick click there.
All right. I'm going to start off with just insects. So here I sent a few pictures of the sizes of the insects right now in the spring. This first week out, we like to go to our hot spots. So the spanworm that you're seeing are from areas that last year they had those big circles. If you ever had spanworm, you know what those circles are. So we go back there just to see where they're at. And these guys would be treating a little bit earlier. My finger, there's a tiny little sparg there. That's how big the sparg are right now. Dave Jones sent me a picture yesterday of the first blunt-nosed leafhopper. So he swept one yesterday. I have not yet swept any, but they're coming. And what we're telling growers, and we're going to talk a lot on leaf drop later, but I'm just reminding growers to make sure you're rotating whatever insecticides you're using. So these 2 spots with the spanworm, the one with the really large spanworm, he liked using orthene every spring. He liked using it, and it doesn't always control all of the spanworms specifically. So if you're rotating your chemicals, I like to no more than 2 years in a row and rotate. So orthene and imidan are kind of spring options that are that 1B mode of action. Fanfare is something newer. We experimented with this last year. Some growers were willing to treat sections and beds, and we were really happy with it. So I've been encouraging that because that's a different mode of action. That's a 3. And it's also pretty inexpensive somewhere. It's pretty close to where orthene is. I'm not exactly sure how much. And then their other good option for spraying is a delegate, which is a 5. There are some growers that like to flood in the spring, given the right conditions and plant stages. That is another option, but still we like to rotate out of that because we found like the blunt nose leafhopper, for example, isn't controlled with flooding. Yeah, so there's all of that. And then you can go to the next screen, Allison. She's going to bring up plant stages. I think this is the furthest along on the left, and it's roughnecks. Some of the hybrids, some of the younger hybrids are roughnecking. Most of the Stevens in like the Cranberry area are that cabbage head or just the bud break. In Toma and Warrens, maybe a little bit like a bud break for Stevens and elongation, but nothing really past this roughneck stage for where we're at. The picture on the right, Amaya's going to talk a lot more about this, but there's a lot of leaf drop this year. So if you're a grower with a lot of leaf drop, I would not advise you to flood for insect control. Your plant has been stressed enough, so do not flood and be using those chemicals. Another thing, I'm seeing side shooting, not nearly as much as I saw last season, but it's still present. But our biggest thing is probably leaf drop this spring, a lot of growers. So these are some questions Amaya can answer. The causes, why, what happened, what's happening in the plant, and then how can this plant do this? All the leaves are gone, and then on top it has that healthy growth or a healthy bud. So those are some questions she can answer. But I think those are my big observations this year. There's a lot of I'll address this. There's a lot of questions whether we can mix Fanfare and Callisto. So Jed said there's no research, so proceed with caution. And I don't know if Allison can sneak that in any of her trials this year, but that would be helpful to know if it gets hot, like Lorsman and Callisto do in corn, or can in corn, or if that's going to be a good option for us to be able to mix them. But yeah, I think that's all I have unless somebody has questions.
I think we should definitely encourage questions because we've got a couple more minutes here planned for you than we've actually taken. I have both Fanfare and Callisto in my cabinet. I have not gotten, I don't know, approval or gone through the process of, is it okay for me to run this trial? It seems like I might be able to ask the right people and see if we can do that. I do have a fair amount of, yeah, like I said, we've got, I think 5. And then I will be doing the first blunt nose leafhopper. I already have that trial staked, and so I'll be applying it once we get 10 insects swept there. That's my trigger there. But I have not got clearance from that grower to do anything other than the originally discussed, insecticides. Got a question from Cass Gilmore on whether the leaf drop is from water or winter or harvest damage. And I imagine you're going to say, that's a great question for Amaya.
Yeah, I think she is going to want to talk about a lot of that. I'll pipe in when she's talking of what I'm seeing. But yeah, so in general, you're on the right track. It's probably from a lot of those different things, or combination, or all, or some. But overall, so we did get hail again this year. this spring. I think this is going to be like a normal thing to get lots of hail events. And that's another question. Is it not necessarily the leaf drop, but the side shooting? Is it from hail? Oh, and another question I'm getting, can I see a difference between the growers that did that early protection and growers that didn't? So this was around the same time as we had our mini clinic when we were like, oh, who flooded, who didn't, or who protected? And as far as damage goes, I'm not seeing any noticeable damage either way. And the only thing I'm noticing is maybe the growers I didn't are just a step behind plant stage wise, but from my initial observations, everybody was right. You guys both made the right decision.
Which usually just means we worried too much, right? Happy to take more questions from Pam, and if others don't pop in, we'll maybe move ahead with the data collection segment. But if you've got a question, go ahead and drop that in the chat or unmute yourself and ask. And we'll go ahead, and of course, Pam's going to be here the rest of the session as well. So if you have questions throughout and they come up for Pam, we'll go ahead and take them at that time. Thank you, Pam, for all those observations. I know seeing the spectrum of insect sizes, especially for the folks who are further north, is always, brace yourself, here they come. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank Tom and Alex for helping host as part of the Growers Association. I want to thank the Education Committee for helping us have topics to discuss. And of course, thanking Amaya and Paul and John and Pam for joining us to share their thoughts and observations. And we'll look forward to seeing you next month.